Where do we draft Jahmyr Gibbs in 2024? It's not an easy question to answer, and I get asked this question all the time, probably one time an hour minimum, maybe two, in a comment, in a DM, in an email, in a yell, and a holler from the street as I'm going on a 2-mile run. Hey, Smitty, where are we drafting Jahmyr? I don't know. Let's find out together. And in a live draft edition, the fantasy football show, Jahmyr Gibbs, where do we draft him? Where is he a high risk? Where is he a low risk? Where is he a smash? That show begins right now. And to draft with us, click that link, sign up under code Smitty on Underdog. Link is pinned in the live chat. Link's in the description of the video. Link was just dropped. Code Smitty also gets it done. That show, that graveyard show, begins right now. File in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks. You're watching a
graveyard stream.
Here we are talking about probably one of the most important topics right now that I can think of. We're Brandon Ayuk free tonight, unless somebody on the phone line brings it up. We're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. We're talking about a guy that has a hamstring injury that is yet to truly be defined, and we're kind of awaiting news. Is it a grade 1? Is it not even a grade 1? Is it a cramp of sorts that feels like a strain? You know, an unknown situation, nothing to be alarmed about. We don't know. All we know is that his ADP is plummeting. And when I mean plummeting, I mean like going from round 1 to round 2 is a pretty drastic change. Dropping from 8, 9, 10 to 12, 13, 14, it may seem like, oh, that's not too far. It is in the grand scheme of things when you're dealing with 8 picks, 7 or 8 picks going before this guy, and now he drops to the beginning of 2, maybe mid 2 for some people. Some people even say, I'm not drafting him, period. I don't draft injured players. And so you don't know where you're going to get him. But we're definitely going to swing in here and talk about, you know, and I'll show you where I think he should go. We're going to jump into an underdog draft in a minute, but I definitely feel like at the end of the day, my stance is this. We don't have negative news. At least we don't have anything more negative than we heard. He's got a hamstring issue. He was evaluated for it. He didn't get carted off the field. He didn't go down with a hamstring injury. He literally walked in, got evaluated, and they said he's got a hamstring issue, which can be a 1 to 3 week situation in terms of resting it and trying to hope that he doesn't feel that tightness again when he goes out there. Some of these hamstring injuries are precautionary. You know, some of the calf injuries like CMC's appears to be precautionary. CMC even said he'd go out and play. I am more worried about Christian McCaffrey's calf than I am the hamstring of Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a young man. Christian McCaffrey's 28 years old. So whole lot of concern, I think, spreading like wildfire right now in fantasy communities. And this is a good and a bad thing. It's bad because, I mean, you do have risk, right? There is some risk involved. But the good news is that the panic's so heavy that you're baking in any of the concern right into the newfound ADP. It would be one thing if we kept taking him at 8 or 7, or in some cases, I even said I'd take him at 5 or 6. If he was completely healthy, I'd have no qualms about taking him in my top 5 or top 6 overall. So you're telling me now that with a potential, not even for sure, hamstring injury concern, that I now get him as my second drafted player. You're telling me for the very first time I can draft Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs in round 1 and round 2 and walk out on my draft with both players. That excites me. You're telling me I can now get Jahmyr Gibbs and Tyreek Hill. These are builds that we've never been able to explore, especially in best ball or non-best ball, and that excites me because you bake the risk in. Even if you told me he misses 2 games, he comes back in week 3 and tears it up, he's worth a second round pick. He's a home run at the top of round 2. So we're going to jump into a draft. Let's open up our Underdog app. Again, promo code Smitty. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% up to $250. The link is in the description if you're watching the replay. The link just got dropped again, and it's also pinned in the live chat. The code Smitty also gets it done on Underdog. You'll get a special pick in your account if you use code Smitty. You'll get 50% match on your first deposit. Limited, like, do this before this goes away. Could go away at any moment. And we're going to jump into a draft on Underdog. Let's go to the lobby, and we're going to scroll through and try and find the most appropriate draft. The weeklies is gone, which is a darn shame, I must say. Best Ball Mania is getting full. Like, you know, it's probably like, I'd say 65% full right now. We got the big dog. Don't think we're rolling with the big dog. The big dog is 500 bones. The big eliminator is $100. That's a good one. I might try and do the big eliminator. Woo! 27 entrants. 2,700 entrants. I like that. $3 15 and 30 second clock. Let's do that one. What is this? Let me click on it. The mini Schnauzer number 6. Let's do that bad boy. We're going to go with the 15 second clock. Make sure you clicked on the 15 second clock and hit the green enter button now on the mini Schnauzer number 6. Do it live. I'm going to wait 5 seconds because of the YouTube delay, and I'm going to jump in. I love the 15-second timer. That's fantastic. Let me pull the draft up and put it on screen. We'll be hyper-focused on where Jahmyr Gibbs goes in this Schnauzer. Let's see if I can find it. Looks like draft begins in 53 seconds. Let me refresh the screen and put it up for you guys. Where is it at? Where is it at? I've got so many drafts going on. Look at all the drafts I have. You guys think you have a lot of drafts? You don't have a lot of drafts. You don't know what you're talking about. Look at all the drafts I have. These are all drafts going on right now. No, I wasn't done scrolling. Those are all drafts going on right now for me. Look at how many I have. It's insane. We do a lot of private drafts. We do a lot of those. Okay, where is this countdown timer? That's how I can locate it amongst all of these. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? We should make it a little easier to find. Oh, well, it'll pop up when I'm on the clock here. And then I'll put it up. But we'll be drafting here in a second. Okay, up in 3 picks. Let me refresh this. It's not showing it. There we go. Let's see here. Up next. On the clock. Will it put it at the top? Come on. There we go. It's so let's see, I'm gonna go Tyreek Hill. You guys aren't gonna see me draft my first selection because I had to get it all set up. Okay, there we go. Bijan Robinson, McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. Okay, now we're there. It's so hard for me to find that in that mix, and especially the web-based, it's cached a little bit, and so it doesn't, I gotta refresh like twice for it to even pop up. All right, so we're good to go now. Bijan, Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Breece Hall, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Chase, JJ, and number 9 is now on the clock. Let's expand this out a little bit and see if we can get a little action there. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. Rock out's in the 12 hole. Let's expand this up a smidge. Who else is in this draft? We got Cam in the 9 spot. That's one of ours. We've got OG in the 5 spot. That's one of ours. We've got Ray G in the 1. We consume so much of the draft. When we go live and we do a draft, I don't think there's anybody that has as many people fill up. This is why we have snipage. You know, I know we have a lot of snipage, more so than any other channel. No doubt about it, because we fill up the entire draft. Yeah, Thomas, enough of your shenanigans here. I'm going to put you in timeout for a while and let you think about your actions. I'll put them in a 5-minute timeout. Because all you got is Smitty, and all Smitty, you know what? Thomas, we don't even... We'll give you another chance. But you're in the 5-minute timeout. So enjoy that. You come in here trying to disrupt the channel. It doesn't make any sense, bro. All right, we've got Tyreek. We're going to go Kyron Williams here. Where did Jahmyr Gibbs go? He went 10 overall to Superfish. So Superfish, the whole show is going to be geared around Jahmyr Gibbs. The question that I have for myself, and I think it's a question that you want me to answer, is where in the hell do you take him at the 2-3 turn, or the 1-2 turn? Are you like Superfish where you're not scared? You're not scared at all to smash the Jahmyr Gibbs at 10. I don't know if I'm willing to let him try and fall too far, but if I'm Superfish and I'm not in this environment, I might try and let him slip to the 15. I don't think you're going to get him at 16, 17, 18. I think you're more so, if you're in the 11 spot, you're going to let him try and fall to the 14. I have a feeling his ADP is going to be at 13, 14, 15 by 2 or 3 days time when the ADP data updates. It doesn't help that right now it's suggesting that he still goes in round 1. Sean from Connecticut, what's up, Sean?
Hey, I like going these running backs in the first 2 rounds.
Who doesn't?
Sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. And like I see how you took Tyreek, and then you went Kyron, or you got to go at Kyron or A-Chain. It seems like in the 3rd round, I get hesitant because it's I get a little nervous or about the wide receivers, or is it like would you say you'd rather go Mahomes there, or target? Is there, what's a 3rd round receiver you like? DK? I know you like DK. Debo? Or is that too early?
No, Debo should be going around 2, bro. Yeah, Debo went Debo went 15 overall. He went at the 2.3. Debo, but if he falls in your draft, you smash it. Cooper Kupp is fantastic at that 3 area. DK's pretty darn good. Devontae Smith is good. Tank Dell is kind of, I think, not early because he can't earn it, but early because you can get away with a little bit more. I love
Tank Dell. You go 4.
You what?
Tank Dell 4th.
I mean, if you can get away with it, but would I take him in the late 3rd? Sure. I wouldn't hesitate, because let's say you're on this board, or you're on the board right now. Let's say you're Superfish, who took Jahmyr Gibbs at 10, took Debo at 15. Love that combo, by the way. And then you get to this 34 overall pick before it goes down and around. I'm not scared to take Tank Dell there, because you're kind of like picking and choosing. Do I take the 4th round player a little early because I like 2 players, and so I could easily do that. Do I think you should take Tank Dell at 3.1? No, because traditionally you don't need to. But I'd smash the Tank Dell shares right there at the late 3rd, but definitely 4th is better. All right, hold on one second, bro. I gotta make a draft selection here. I don't have a lot of Lamar, but I don't know. Let's see here. Wide receiver. Oh my god. I'm gonna go Lamar here. I don't have a lot of Lamar. I don't think I have probably like maybe out of, I don't know how many hundreds of drafts I have. I probably have like 4 Lamar shares. So I don't mind grabbing Lamar in one draft, especially in a Snipe City environment. All right, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry, Sean.
Do you like you took Lamar now? Would you go Zay Flowers at 5 if you could?
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I don't hate it. That's not a bad. I don't like Zay in 3 or 4. Sometimes Zay's been going the 3-4 turn. I hate that. I don't like it at all. But Zay doesn't earn everything you're calling out, except for that one. Well, actually, he did go right after. It's not available. Like you're saying, would you go Debo in round 3? Debo's going at 2 point. Bro, if Ayuk gets traded, Debo's going at the 11, 12, 13 territory.
Okay.
It's going to get wild. Debo, and I'm almost there for. I mean, as long as Debo's my 2nd drafted player, I'm on board. I'm on board, bro. I'm not running away from that at all.
if you are you high on Zay Flowers or no? You're not really, because he's the main option there.
He is the main option, but name a wide receiver, and I won't let you waste your time because the answer is 0. But name the wide receiver that is a top 25, 30 receiver in a Lamar Jackson offense. There is none. I'm not saying that doesn't change, but we got a lot to worry about there. So
and as far as like the tight ends, like McBride and Kincaid, is 4 or 5. If you could get them in 5, that'd be great. But would you say 4?
Too early. I mean, try and push it. You don't need, especially in a non-best ball. You got to push it. Push it. All right. Hey, Sean, got to go. Call back if you got another one. I got to clear the phone line off. Call back when we get more people on the phone line. All right. Phone line's open. Dial in. No offense, Sean. I just know you go forever, and I got to cap it a little bit. Let me swing back over to draft mode here and see what I'm going to do. So far, my team's very solid. Am I going to have some wide receiver problems? I don't think so, because I'm stacking my other positions so well that, and this is a team I don't normally build, but Lamar Jackson, Andrews, if Lamar and Andrews stay healthy, pretty damn good value there. Pacheco, Kyren, Tyreek Hill. I like what I'm building here. I think it's a pretty solid team. 331, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I like it. I'm building here.
331, hello?
Yeah.
All right. You're not ready. It's okay. Maybe we'll do it next time. All right, so Smitty's on the clock here. Smitty, or on deck here. On deck. Let's go. Ridley, interesting pick. Not bad at all. I think I'm going to roll with Xavier Worthy, which Xavier Worthy's pretty good here. That's a sneaky wide receiver too. Not like the safest, but it's solid. It's really sneaky. I wish I had Mahomes. Can you turn down the background noise, bro? This is a 331.
Yeah, I did, man.
What's your name, 331? What can I do for you?
Hey, man, it's Ayush. Big fan. Believe Keon Coleman.
What's your name? Moon, what's your name and where you calling from?
Ayush.
Who?
Ayush, and I'm calling from Chicago, man.
Pam? Pan?
Chicago.
What's your name, though? How do you spell it?
Ayush. Ayush.
Okay, from Chicago. All right. Appreciate you, bro. Keon Coleman, you were saying. You were trying to glaze Keon Coleman. Go ahead.
Yes, man. I believe that man is going to the moon.
To the moon.
Before I ask my question, though. So, Keon Coleman to the moon. Now, here's my actual question. For people who are in non-best ball mode drafts, and towards like the back end of the third and fourth end round, would you say that you should punt the QB position and go at the 10th round? That's my question.
Punt the QB position and go 10th round. Well, first of all, I would never give you advice. And I'm sorry, Jaime, I'm sorry I haven't answered your $10 hauler yet. I'll put it right here and I'm going to come right for it. I'd never give someone blanket advice on punting anything. You got to be on the clock to make these decisions. You got to be at the factory, bro. You can't QC something, quality control something from remote. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say, hey, why don't you staple all those TPS reports in the top left corner? If I'm not there, I might want the staple in the top right corner. What if there's text and stuff over on the one side of the page? You got to be there in person, bro. Testing the product, feeling the product. So the answer is, I don't know. I would never say punt quarterback. I love early quarterback. Early quarterback smashes. It's all apples to apples comparison, bro. You got to ask yourself, like in the example of Jalen Hurts here in round 3, is Jalen Hurts in the wide receiver in round 6 better than CJ Stroud in the wide receiver in round 3? So if you look at Brandon Ayuk and Joe Burrow, or Patrick Mahomes and Jameson Williams, very comparable. In the worst case scenario, it's even. So punting quarterback, no. Say your question one more time, though. There's something else in there.
Yeah, so it was pretty much like, so right now in my home league, I'm the 10th pick, okay? And the first 2 rounds, I already know who I'm going to get. Jefferson and Jahmyr Gibbs at pick 15. Boom. I see the ADP falling, by the way, so I agree with that.
I mean, I like that.
My
I would
question
cement
is,
it in, but I like it. Okay.
Yeah, and then my thing is, I'm on ESPN, by the way, and at the 3-4 turn, picks 34 and 39, I'm like getting really confused if I should click for that tight end and reach for, because my question is, do I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. I'm stuttering a little bit. But my question is, do I go ahead and reach for Mark Andrews at pick 39 and maybe, grab your Deebo Samuel at pick 34, or 34. Do I just not grab Mark Andrews and I get my elite QB1 my Anthony?
Bro, these are too specific. I'm sorry, but they're too specific of questions. I have to see who's on the board. You're asking me to give you a blueprint, and I can't do that. I refuse to do it because I don't want to put you in a bad spot. And you said Deebo Samuel 34. Bro, if you get Deebo Samuel at 34, I quit my job and I come work for you. You understand what I'm saying? There's no way you're getting Deebo Samuel at 34 unless these are corpses you're playing with at the local nursing home that stopped feeding all the patients months ago. That's the only way you're getting Deebo Samuel at 34. He's about to be the number one wide receiver bona fide in San Francisco, and there's no way. And even if, let's say, Ayuk stays, is still absolutely no question in my mind. Deebo's crushing, and I'm taking him in the 2-3 turn. All right, hold on 1 second, bro. I'm on the clock, and I need to make a decision here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to time out, so I had to quickly just make a move. I took Wicks. I don't think it's bad. It's just I hope there's not somebody else I'm regretting not taking. All right. Did I answer your question? I don't know that I did, but yeah, I don't want to say take Andrews at 30. I can't do that. I can't do. You got the better thing, dude, is to say, here's 4 players. Who do you like better? Because there's no way I can tell you to punt and do the specific thing you're trying to have me sign off on when I don't know who's on the board. Did Achane fall? Did you go double RB? How did it all go? You went JJ and you went what'd you say, Gibbs, and you come back around. If Mahomes is there, I'm smashing the hell out of that. Mahomes is the biggest league winner in fantasy football. So if he's there in the third round, I'm smashing the hell out of that. Do I like the idea of Lamar and Andrews? Obviously not that much if this is the first time I've done it in a long time. I don't love it. I don't hate it. This team looks pretty good. I got Tyreek. I'm in the 4 spot. Tyreek, Kyren, Pacheco, Lamar, Andrews, Xavier Worthy, Roma Dunze, Jonathan Brooks, and Dontavian Wicks. I think it's a pretty good team. But I got Andrews in the 5th round, bro. You're talking about what pick? 39?
Pick 10.
No,
yeah, pick 39. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking Andrews at 39. No way.
So let me say this: Would you take Patrick Mahomes, your elite quarterback, at pick 34, and then Andrews at pick 39? How about that?
Sure, but it's still not going to lock that in, bro.
Yeah, obviously, because you need to see who the board is and make decisions. Yeah,
yes,
I got that. It's kind of a pickled situation to be in, but thanks for answering.
All right, man. Call back if you got another one later. Jaime, $10 hauler experiment last night. Set your ranks on ESPN. Autoed entire draft. You got Keenan Josh Allen, Gibbs, Kyren, Achane, Debo, Dell, McBride. That's insane, bro. That's like, oh my God, that's an insane team. Very, very good. Okay. This squad's pretty good. So I got Blake Corum, I got Kyren and Blake, I got Pacheco, I got Jonathan Brooks for later. Liking the squad. I got Tyreek, I got Lamar, I got Andrews. Very, very solid. Okay, I'm on the clock here. I could use another wide receiver. Kind of like, I don't want to say his name until 3 seconds. 2, 1. Okay, here we go. I kind of like Hopkins here. Highest ranked wide receiver. He won't make it back to me, so I don't mind speaking his name. I think it's pretty decent to grab him here. I'm going to go Hopkins here. So, wide receivers, considering my start, I did 1 wide receiver, and then I didn't draft another one until the 6th round. Such a no-no in the best ball industry. Smitty, they don't teach you that in the best ball industry, Smitty. What are you doing? How do you have a channel Well, I kind of like my wide receiver room, Bob. I got Tyreek. I've got Xavier Worthy. I've got Adunze. I've got Wicks, and I've got Hopkins. I'm feeling pretty damn good considering Kyron, Pacheco, Jonathan Brooks, Lamar Jackson, and Mark Andrews are also filling up my roster. I'll take that. Thank you very much. That's a smash. Yeah, Hopkins will probably expect him to miss week 1. Smitty changed the finish him voice. Mortal Kombat, finish him. All right, dial in. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right, so this is a Jahmyr Gibbs conversation. Let's really kick this around, okay? Number 10. How concerned in the room are you all drafting him 10 where Superfish drafted Jahmyr Gibbs? And if it put up a concern number, 10 being very concerned, 1 being not, or 0 being not concerned at all. So are you concerned taking Gibbs at 10? Let's do a vote on that. So drop it and let's go. Oh, I'm up next. Let's go. I'm going to go a little Kirk Cousins. Action. Got a bye week 14 in Lamar, bye week 12 in Kirk Cousins. My running stable's in trouble with a massive bye week 6 situation, but that's okay. We'll address that hopefully. On the clock here in a few seconds. I love these 15-second timers. I mean, we're flowing through this draft. All right, our concerned votes are 10. Ghost is not drafting Jahmyr Gibbs at 10 at all. 10 overall. 0 concern from Antonio. I like the way you think. I do like that confidence. 5, 6, 4. DC Dude says 4. Landon says 3. Okay. Oh, I was going to time out. I reached like 7 tight ends down to grab Likely just to cuff to Andrews, which is smart, but I didn't want to take him that high, but I was going to time out. I'd rather get the guy I want than get left with. I think it would have been Shaheed, which wouldn't have been the worst, but I want to make my decision. Travis says 3. Travis, appreciate you. Okay, so Travis ain't that concerned. My vote, and let's scroll back up and show. Actually, you know what? I've made a vow to not be full screen on this damn draft all the time because I can't stand that. I don't want to be just drafting all the time. I want to have conversations. So we're going to put that right here, and we'll know when I'm on the clock. And we'll be able to have a discussion about my pick when I'm on the clock. But I think for me, my stance is this. If I think the ADP, I don't mind what Superfish did there at 10. I think if the ADP doesn't change, then I'm going to probably have to take him at the 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'll do it at a little bit less of a clip. I'll be doing it, instead of doing it 7 times out of 10, I'm going to maybe dial it back to like 4. And that's not because I'm showing a lot of concern. That's just being smart. I'm doing a lot of best ball drafts. But in a home league, in a non-best ball scenario where, let's say I do 2 of those a year, I do tons of best ball, and I do 2 buddy league drafts a year. That's it, 2 home leagues. I'm not afraid to take Gibbs in one of those 2 at 11, 12 territory. I'm not. But if the ADP, I hope the ADP puts me in a position where I want to do it in both drafts. And I think to do that, it's got to drop to the 13, 14, 15 for me to say, you know what, I don't care. I'm taking on that risk every single time. Smash, do it live. On the clock here, this 15-second timer is kind of brutal. I'm gonna go Jordan Mason here. Kind of brutal when you don't have any queued up players, so I better queue up a few other players. That's on me. That is on me. Where is... Okay. Travis, you're live. What are your thoughts on Jahmyr Gibbs? You said a 2 or a 3 as far as your concern level. What did you say it was?
I said a 3.
3.
I said a 3. Just, I mean, there's going to be some concern because we don't completely know exactly what's going on yet and how long it's going to be and stuff. But from what I've read and seen, they're going to take it easy with him and, give him time to heal. And I'd go as far as say, if like the first couple weeks of the season go by and he's getting, not as many carries, it seems like they're taking it easy, I'd still be in to buy him, because I think if they're doing that, then they're just making sure he's 100% and easing him back in, because the rate of re-injury is always highest the first couple games back. So
look at this running back room.
Play it slow. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Look at this running back room. So very unique. I've got Kyren, Corum. I cuffed him to Corum. I got Pacheco. So I'm loaded there. Kyren and Pacheco's fantastic. And that's where the Tyreek Hill start. So I went Tyreek Hill, Kyren, Pacheco. I went Lamar, Andrews, Xavier Worthy, Roma Dunze, Jonathan Brooks for later, Dontavian Wicks, Blake Corum, Hopkins, who was probably out week 1, but I think he's back not too long after that. Kirk Cousins, Isaiah Likely cuffed to Mark Andrews. But then I took Jordan Mason and Elijah Mitchell back to back.
Nice. Yeah, so and one of them are going to probably do something there. So.
I think that's going to be crafty. And I also, you know what I didn't check? Just want to make sure. Bye week 9, okay. I was pretty sure that the Niners didn't have a bye week 6, but I had to make sure because I got loaded up bye week 6. But by the time bye week 6 comes, Jonathan Brooks should be out there, and if he's not, then I only have Jordan Mason and Mitchell. But it is what it is. That's fine. But I love my running back stable. I think Mitchell and Mason, one of those guys, has a huge stretch, and I hate to say that. I know the CMC owners are going to hate that, but that's just the way I feel. I need one more tight end because I have 2 bye week 12s with the Likely and Andrew stack, obviously. I'm in round 16, so 16, 17 is this 18 rounds. I think this is 18 rounds on the clock here. Let's see here. I need a wide receiver, a tight end. God, I don't know if the bye week's the same. I just had to take a stab. Please don't be. I had to do it. I was on the clock. The timer is so fast. Thank God. No, wait. I clicked on the wrong team. Come on. No, it's week 14. Oh, no. I just picked Jelani Woods. I was timing out. And sure enough, week 14. So all three might. That's okay. Yep. It's okay. Tight ends, sometimes you get 4 or 5 points. That's all right. I'll be stacked the rest of the. Sometimes it's relative, but that totally screwed me. Jeez. What are we doing here? I'm gonna time out. Ah, God, I'm getting blasted these last 2 rounds.
15 seconds is quick.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to do what I'm doing. And who took Penix Jr.? I got Kirk Cousins. Who grabbed Penix Jr.? It had to have been Ray G. It has to be Ray G. I almost guarantee you it's Ray G.
Yep, it is. Yeah, it is.
Son of a B.
Get the Fields and Penix combo going there.
Damn you, Ray G. You son of a B. All right, well, this might make me win, Ray G. You're not holding me back. Okay, where's my damn team? Okay. I need a QB. My bye week is what, week 14? I have Kirk Cousins week 12. Do I leave Lamar and Cousins, hope that Lamar's got a bye week 14? Do I leave Lamar and Cousins there, hoping that by the time week 14 comes around, Cousins is still... Ray G wouldn't have screwed me. Or do I draft... there's not a lot to draft. I don't know that I'm going to risk anything here. I might as well just... God, do I go back and clean up my tight end situation? That didn't sound good. Pause.
We could do that. So you don't have 0 points 1 week there.
Chigakonkwo, week 5. Theo Johnson. Sanders, a rookie. I could do that. Or I could take Taysom Hill. So Taysom Hill or the extra tight end. I'm 3 tight ends, though. It's getting ridiculous. Probably safer to have a QB, right?
Yeah. Probably, but I guess, yeah, because Cousins, yeah.
Damn you!
Tough spot.
You're going to wake up the whole...
Look at that. Everyone just took tight ends right before you.
I know. You can't have nice things on this channel. You can't have nice things. Hold on 1 second. Let me go to...
You can't talk at all.
Ayush. Ayush, is that how you say it?
Yes.
Ayush from Chicago.
Yeah,
You're back.
Yeah, you got it on the spot.
What can I do for you?
All right, so I'm going to ask the question exactly how you asked them, like short, simple, sweet, with options. All right, so let's get this going. All right, pick one at pick 10. In least to best order, who do you like between Jefferson, Brown, and Wilson the most?
Jefferson, A.J. Brown?
A.J.
And
Brown,
Wilson.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go J.J., but like I'm hesitant there. I love A.J. Brown this year. But Jefferson, this is redraft. Jefferson, A.J., Garrett, Wilson. But very, very close. Like you should be happy with any one of those guys.
Yeah.
God, that just real quick.
McCarthy.
What?
I was just asking, does it change with McCarthy possibly being out for a while and not having the opportunity?
That's a great question. And to answer, Travis, if we got word that McCarthy, they went in and they had to repair the meniscus and he's done for the year, which is very, very decent possibility. I wouldn't say strong because no one has a clue how damaged it is. If they have to do a repair and he's out for the year, then I bet you I would circle in and say A.J. Brown. But the question is, do I go J.J. or Garrett Wilson? I don't know. These will evolve. These answers will evolve. Know that.
Okay. And then my second out of the pick 3, JT, Saquon, and Gibbs. Those are my 3 options at pick 15. Which one do you like the most? Who's this man?
JT, Saquon, Gibbs. I'm gonna go Gibbs, but and again, this is unfortunately like I can't predict the future, but I'm gonna say Gibbs. But if there's any sort of concern at all beyond what we feel now, like they say it's in between a grade 1 and there was concern there was a 2, but it ended up not being a 2, and they think it's gonna be okay. I think I'm gonna take Saquon Barkley. And if you want safety, go Saquon. Saquon's going to ball out. He caught an absolute missile from Jalen Hurts today in a touchdown grab, and they're going to send Saquon down the field like he's a receiver 20-30% of the time. Like this guy's going to be going and catching passes. He's one of the most underrated receiving backs in the National Football League. You know how you don't know that? Because Daniel Jones was throwing him the ball, who has never produced a top 30 wide receiver. So how in the hell would we know how good Saquon is pulling the football in? So Saquon could be the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 PPR running back in football. And a lot of people would just say, oh, the Eagles don't throw to the running backs. Sadly, you're going to be mistaken. Because guess what? Kellen Moore is going to change that. And Hurts never had a running back anywhere on Saquon's level. Saquon could pull in 60 to 65 receptions with ease in this offense. So Saquon is a very safe play. You don't want any risk at all. You feel like I love Gibbs, but I got him enough shares in best ball. I got enough shares in another league. Then go Saquon, bro. It's safe. But I love both.
Okay. And then my last question, exactly how you wanted it, as like which are the top 2 players you like. So here it is. So at pick 39 and pick 34, same thing. Just choose the 2 players you like. There's Debo. There's Jalen Waddle. There's Devonta Smith. There's Malik Neighbors. And then obviously there's your QB1 / your tight end 1 option. What do you like? Who are your top 2 options?
I love Debo and Mahomes. Debo and Hurts. Debo and Josh Allen. Debo and one of the top 3 QBs. Debo deserves to be at the 1-2 turn almost if Ayuk gets traded. If Ayuk doesn't get traded, I still feel still feel very, very, very excited about like drafting Debo at the mid-second. Even with Ayuk there. Because first of all, Ayuk's not ready. He's not. DC Dude says, never seen you draft this bad, Smitty. You'll never admit it, but it's bad. Let's take a look at it. Let's see how bad it is, DC Dude. I'm looking at it. Tyreek Hill. I don't know about you guys, but that tickles my fancy just fine. Then we go on over to Kyron Williams. That tickles my fancy fine again. Isaiah Pacheco, 12, 11, 14 touchdowns on the year. Thinking I'm doing pretty good so far there, DC Dude. Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, I don't draft enough of it. So I'm trying to get a little bit of that action. I worry about the offensive line enough to say that the Ravens are more so panic chamber than not panic chamber for me. But I have no problem drafting that. Then I got Xavier Worthy, Adunze, Jonathan Brooks, Wicks, Blake Corum. I don't know what in the hell you're talking about. On a super chat, you're getting set on a lap, DC Dude.
Gotta at least say why you don't like the team.
And whoever's in the background with the show, or if you have me on speaker, I hear a lot of reverb. So if you could turn that down, or whoever's got the show on in the background, it's got to come off. So no, totally. Bijan card.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
Which is the worst thing you want to hear on this channel. Alex says, who would you pick in redraft? Gibbs, AJB, or JJ? This is kind of similar to his question. Gibbs, I want, but we're gonna punt him into two because I think we can. AJ Brown, if JJ loses his QB, future QB. So I think we answered that, Alec, in that conversation, which is nice for you. But I would say that, like, even seeing it written out though. So who's on the phone again? It's Ayush? Even seeing it written out like this, part of me wavers now. And I'm looking at AJB, JJ, and I'm like, you know, like it's so volatile for me. Like the wind's blow. I'm like Jerry Jones right now. I could go in any direction. I don't know. One day you'll say, do you like AJ Brown over JJ? And I'll go, you don't think I lose sleep at night talking about drafting AJ Brown? Then the next day I'm like, JJ, what are you talking about? It's so tough. I'd say at the end of the day.
Redraft,
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say at the end of the day, for me, I think the smartest maneuver and move is always to default to the better offense. And JJ lives in a bad offense. I'm sorry, he does. And AJ Brown lives in glory. And so push comes to shove. If you get it wrong, how wrong will you be? Probably not that wrong. If you get it wrong the other direction, it could be devastating. So, you know what, Ayush? I'm going to change my mind and say safety. Put your safety goggles on and walk away from the flames that might be Minnesota. Give me AJ Brown. If JJ McCarthy is everything's good and clear, then maybe I change my mind. How about we do that? We err on the side of caution until we hear good news, then we reevaluate. So I don't know. If you're drafting tonight, then I'd say AJ Brown. If you're drafting in a week, then we'll have information and we'll be able to make that call.
Drafting pretty much.
Let's hear Travis's response first, then back to Ayush. Go ahead, Travis.
I was just going to say, I think in redraft, like, as it stands, like you said, I have to go with AJB because that offense is just going to cook, and you know what you get. And I think the other player he mentioned was Garrett Wilson, and I love him this year with Rodgers. Yeah. But there's risk with that, too, because of, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Rodgers and his health, and it just seems like AJB, I mean, you've mentioned before he's had a couple knee issues and stuff, but I think that offense, that whole team is just on a revenge tour this year, in my opinion. They're going to smash people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, any quarterback goes down, there's risk.
I'd err to that. And the one other thing I was going to say, too, was even if J.J. McCarthy comes back, and doesn't mean me hating on him because I'm not the biggest believer in him, but even if he comes back, how long does it take now? If he misses some time, he's not ready to start the year, but he still comes back. He's a rookie quarterback. How long does it take to get him in a rhythm with these guys? And you could be 8-9 weeks down the road before they're pumping at 100% in Minnesota if he's a QB.
Yeah, and there's
you don't know what's going to happen with Darnold. And
there's almost a guarantee, almost a flat-out guarantee that JJ plays with multiple quarterbacks this year. Because Darnold would have to keep the job, and so that's risky. I don't know. A.J. Brown for me.
They're going to want to protect McCarthy too. I mean, he's their future, so
yeah,
they're not going to throw him out there unless he's 100%.
I like McCarthy as a character guy. I mean, I've said this before. If anybody thinks I'm a
like
McCarthy or Drake May hater, I'm not. They're both like high quality character. Like there's high quality characters you can find, and so I'm rooting for McCarthy. I really am. And at this point, like if this question right here from Young says, how does Smitty feel about the rookie QB debuts? I'm not so much on the train of like, what he did, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, looked pretty good. He did against the second team Raider defense. So we got to pump the brakes a little bit. But in that, I still like what I saw, mechanism, everything about what he did was good. Take away that it was the backups and everything. I'm excited about him a little more, for sure. Am I using this to say, oh my God, I'm wrong about JJ McCarthy, I'm totally changing my tune? No, that's knee-jerk reaction. I've seen a lot of people say, I doubted McCarthy, but after watching him, I'm in. Like, you can't do that on one game, preseason game against backup players. No. Justin Fields against, I don't even think it was backup players, had 2 passes for 2 touchdowns. They were both 50-plus yard touchdowns in his preseason debut in last season in the preseason, and we all thought that Fields was going to the moon. And Fields did play that well when he was out there. He was great. He's QB2, QB5, QB3, QB6. Like, he had some big games. But we got to be careful not to react, especially against backups. Now, as far as Caleb looked good. No one's ever questioned his arm talent. Yeah. There's more that goes into it than one preseason game. And am I more intrigued by the ability he'll have to produce fantasy points for the surrounding players? I am a little bit. I'm just being honest. I'm always honest. I'll always adjust and adapt. And if I have to eat my words on Caleb being a good fantasy QB, I will. I never thought that the entire offense would be held back by him. I think they rotate through. But keep in mind how good Fields looked. We cannot act like Caleb is going to be this glorious player because of a preseason drive or 2. But I do hope that he can do what he did the other night and do it often. But these comparisons to Mahomes already off of a preseason game are ridiculous. Like, oh, that was very Mahomes-like. Come on, bro.
Yep.
Come on. He just wait until they get into a actual game, and let's see what happens. I really think that he could have like tons of INTs and make a lot of mistakes and still produce fantasy points. So if he doesn't turn out to be the savior in Chicago, and remember, Fields played good production-wise, but they got rid of him because they couldn't win. If Caleb produced good fantasy numbers, I will not be shocked. I just don't think he is going to be the savior, and I think from that level, he's going to bust. But that I could change my tune on that, and I'll eat my words. I'm not going to ever get everything right. I'm going to get some things right, some things wrong. Some years are better than others. Could Caleb be one of my bad calls? Maybe, but I'm not. If you think I'm ready to say that already after one preseason game, not any of you on the phone line, but you get out of your minds. And by the way, we hit 26K tonight. As you can notice from behind me, you can see the 26K is up there. So thank you all for doing that work there. Thank you, Young, for the super chat. All right, last question from Ayush, and then I got to jump to Mars Man Rock Out. He's been waiting.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Last year in my redraft league, I was picked 101, and this was when elite QBs were going on the 2-3 turn in just normal home redraft league. And I took Mahomes, and it kind of really burned me. And that kind of like put like this whole entire prison in mind of Mahomes is just like, he's not going to produce. I keep getting worried about him because he didn't give me like a solid
I'm about
game.
to hang up
like,
on you, bro.
I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, stop talking bad about Mahomes.
I need you to talk some face.
What do you mean?
Trust me,
Go watch my 5 best picks in fantasy football. Mahomes is the best pick in all of 2024 fantasy football. I don't know what you want me to. Here, let me tell you about him. Wrong one there. QB7 last year. In his worst year, he was QB8 in 2019. These are his worst years. QB8, QB7. In 2022, 1 year prior, bro, than last year, he was the number one quarterback and number one overall fantasy football scorer, and they couldn't get in rhythm at all, bro. They've upgraded everything. They've upgraded this wide receiver room. Even if Hollywood Brown never plays a snap, is so intensely upgraded. Worthy, you've got Rashee Rice probably playing the full year and then gets suspended next year. At this rate, they got a top 5 to 7 offensive line, which is debatable whether it's 4-5 or 6-7, whatever. You got a guy that scored 0 rushing touchdowns last year. That's going to go up. 27 passing touchdowns. That's going to go to 40. And this guy's going to score 45, maybe 50 total touchdowns. I absolutely think the Chiefs are not only going to repeat and be the first back-to-back champs, but I think Mahomes is going to have an electric year en route versus last year. He didn't, and then they still won it. The momentum's on their side. This guy's going in the 4th round in best ball, goes in the 3rd round in non-best ball. He's the biggest steal in all of fantasy.
All right, man, you've got me sold enough. There's nothing more to say.
All right, go watch that video though. There's definitely more to say, and you'll enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and watch it.
All right, later, Ayush. Let's go over to Marsman Rock Out. You are live, young man.
Rock out.
Rock out.
Yeah,
bro.
DC Dog probably doesn't like my team either. It was a bunch of panic hits because I was back-to-back.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's 15-second timer is no joke. Okay, so there's gonna be mistakes made.
And I was back-to-back.
But how do you not like? Yeah, back-to-back's got to be rough. How do you not like this team? Like, what in the heck? Like, I'm not saying it's the best team I've ever drafted, but Tyreek Hill, Kyron Williams, Pacheco, Lamar, Andrews, Xavier Worthy, Adunze, Jonathan Brooks, Wicks, Blake Corum, cuffed to Kyron. Hopkins is a steal there, whether you like him or not. Like, you're getting him in the 11th round. If he doesn't show up for week 1, maybe even week 2, who cares? Still decent value. Kirk Cousins, Isaiah Likely cuffed to, if Andrews can't stay healthy, then guess what? Likely's gonna be good. Jordan Mason,
They're
Mitchell.
Use him anyways, too.
Yeah, the only thing I screwed up on is I had 3 tight ends. They all the same bye week. 15 seconds is rough. You don't have time to think about anything.
Yeah.
And I'm running a show, and I got a bunch of complaining Caleb's as well on top of that. So, anyway, what else, Rock Out? What else you got?
Oh, check out my team.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're in this draft too. I forgot. Yeah, you're in the 12 spot. So you've got Puka, Marvin Harrison Jr., Travis Etienne, Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, George Pickens, Dak Prescott. I like your team a lot. That's a really good job.
It's a good start. Wow.
Yeah, that's a really good team. And then you got Deontay, Tua's good value. Tua, I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot. And then we got Superfish in the 10 hole. Gibbs, Debo, Henry, Laporta, Christian Watson was a little early in the 5th round. I don't know if you got rushed and you had him queued or something like that. That's definitely understandable in a 15-second timer, but that's really high. David Montgomery, Love. I love that you have Love and Christian Watson. Yeah, Jalen Wright, really good team. Cam in the 9 spot, A.J. Brown, JT, Malik Neighbors. That's good as a 3rd drafted player. Neighbors is good there. I don't like him in 2. I like him in 3. Travis Kelce, fantastic. Rashee Rice, Stroud. That's a good team too. And then we've got, let me see, OG's got Breece Hall, Achane, Mahomes, McLaurin, Keon, Calvin Ridley. You took Keon really early, round 5, bro. I gotta stop doing that. You can't force the sleepers too high, or you're not giving them any room to have a slow start. This is the kind of pick that somebody comes back to me, OG, and they're like, I can't believe you told me to draft Keon Coleman. Now I drafted Moonman, and my team's not doing. I lost because of this, Smitty. Like, you can't just force Keon Coleman into round 5. I don't know if the ADP in this format had him higher or something, but he's not going anywhere near round, I would say 50 something. That's really high. But Ridley, Ramondre, I like this team. But in Snipe City, it's hard to go RB, QB, which is called the tripod, by the way. Here's the tripod for those that don't know.
The tripod, likened to pyramids in ancient Egypt, consists of drafting one of Allen, Mahomes, or Hurts to go with one of these round one running backs and one of these running backs in round two. The tripod.
So it's hard to go tripod in a sniping situation. You're drafting with like-minded people, and then the wide receiver it's hard enough to do it in best ball, but it's harder to do it in a Snipe City best ball. Because then look at what you got. I like McLaurin a lot. I like Coleman a lot. But I don't know. You know what would have been great is Worthy, McLaurin, Keon Cole. Like if you got Worthy in the mix there. Rashee Rice and Worthy are fantastic to go with Mahomes in a best ball when you go very light wide receiver shopping. Like I'm okay having no elite wide receivers if I have the entire KC wide receiver room with Mahomes and then the running back to start the draft. That's really good. And Ray G, sniping Ray G from the 1 took Bijan Allen, Cooper Kupp, Jaden Reed at 4. Ray G, don't blame your Q or any timing out. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You always say that was a mistake. No,
make this up.
I've heard it too many times. I've heard Ray G. I've heard it.
He's too good of a drafter.
Yeah, there's no way he's making mistakes like that. Keenan Allen, by the way, is said to be like 211 pounds, and they're saying he looks like he's 235 or something. Came in heavy, so Keenan Allen, I don't know if that's true. Trey Benson, I like that. Jahan Dotson, Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall could be a league winner. Fields, Braylon Allen. Hopefully Braylon Allen isn't a league winner, but he certainly could be. So that's the draft. All right. Rock out. Anything else? Then I'm going to Jimmy 44 and then over to DC Dude, who's probably done from running his lap. Go ahead, rock out then, Jimmy.
Did you see like the 5 people try to tackle Ben Sinet?
Briefly, I think. I'm doing shows all day. I did another draft, and I've had 2 drafts today and everything. But describe it to me.
And like 3 for like 54 or something like that.
Yeah. I love Ben Sinnott.
And what do you think about Bo Nix after his first game?
I like him.
I know you had him high.
Yeah, Bo Nix I had as really high going into the draft, like my 3rd ranked QB. Love Bo Nix. And I've been a little bit like back and forth on whether I think Denver is going to allow him to unleash his inner beast, but I think he's going to, no matter what, be pretty good. I like him a lot. I think in a 2 QB league, he makes a fine rotational QB2. Like, you don't want to bank on him, but if you can get him, and let's say you get screwed out of your QB2, like you don't have any like major piece there, you could just go like Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Drake May, and like you're hoping you get some production out of that QB2 spot. That can be intriguing. All right, Jimmy 44, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. Do you like Jonathan Taylor at around the 8th spot for a draft, or would you go with someone else?
Everybody's asking about Taylor today. Thank you, Terry, for the 26K celebratory message there, my guy. Super chat, $2. Appreciate you, Terry. JT at 7, 8, 9, no. I like JT top of round 2. And that's not disrespectful. I mean, there's a lot of great players around there, but second draft, anywhere is your second drafted player, I could sign off on that. I'm not loving JT as my first drafted player. I'm just not. Not when you have options like I preferably, bro, in a best ball draft, I'm getting away with Kyron as late as I can. In a home league, non-best ball, I'll take Kyron over JT. So if I've got to take Kyron at 11 or 12, I'll do it. In a home league, I'll do it. Not in best ball. You can't do it in best ball. In a home league, sure. Best ball, you get him so late, you got to try. You do, and plus you do so many best ball drafts, or at least a lot of people do. Maybe some people only do like 4 or 5, but I do hundreds. So I'm going to experiment and test the limits of this thing. I'm maxing out Best Ball Mania and almost maxed out weeklies. I missed it by like 10, I think. But I'm going to try to utilize the ADP to the best of my ability and try the different variations of this, and this. But like you start taking, and I have taken, let me just be honest, in weeklies, I've taken Kyren and Achane a bunch. I took like, and they're going higher though. They're both like 13 and 14 overall. But I would take Achane in round 1 at the 11 and 12 picks constantly at the end of the weeklies before they maxed out. And I would go Achane and Kyren, Achane and Kyren, Achane and Kyren, Achane and Kyren. And I did like 25 drafts in a row with that combo at the end. And I have them in my queue. There's a couple slow there, or a handful of slow. And I'm trying different variants of the Achane Kyren. And if Achane and Kyren don't land, then those teams will go out the window. But if they land, I've got 25 versions and variants of that, and I'm going to smash the hell out of everybody if that ends up working out. So that's kind of the nature of how I look at things. But I'm very much all in. And there's seasons where an injury can take me out, sure. But when I'm all in, like Jerry says, I'm all in, and I can win multiple. I can win a ton the years that I smash. But I think I also have good enough sleeper instincts and things like that sometimes when like a big injury happens and I've got a ton of shares of somebody, like Bijan as an example. Bijan, overdrafting Bijan last year, admittedly, but I still, in any league I won, and I won a lot of leagues last year, I still had Bijan in like 80% of those. Like, it didn't take me down. It just, I would have beaten those people even further. So it's not like it should hold you back, if something doesn't necessarily work out. You should be drafting in a way that protects you. And
you finished strong too, Bijan.
Yeah, I mean, he's running back 9, so it's like you shouldn't be losing your league off of Bijan. Drafting him as running, and we didn't draft him as running back 1 very long. Like, there was like the final couple weeks, I remember I would go live. I'd do videos in like July and June, and I'd say, stop drafting Bijan too high. And I remember I moved him to 6 overall. I did a little Instagram video on it. And when I moved him to 6, it was bold. And then like the last couple weeks, I think we said, if you got to take him 1, try it. Do it in some best ball drafts, because you can build different teams from the 1 than you can the 6. So why not try it? So it wasn't like Bijan 1 overall was the message all offseason at all. It was the message up until like late August was wait as long as you can. Take him 6 overall. He wasn't that far off from at running back 9 from 6 overall. It wasn't that crazy. But all right, Jimmy, hang tight, mute yourself if you could. Superfish says congrats on the 26K. Smitty, you're the best around and the best chat group around. Super Goat, thank you, Superfish, for dropping that super message. And then David says Kyren in round 1, 5th pick with Bijan gone crazy. It's not smart when he goes, like, you'll probably, I don't think you'll get him in the 2nd round, which is probably why you're considering it. But is there trading? Can you move your 2nd rounder up so that you can still grab, whoever, Tyreek Hill, whatever, and then take Kyren as well? This is where it's getting dangerous, because I would say don't push your luck on this thing. Use ADP as best to your ability. Taking Kyren at 11 is totally pushing it. And it's not to say he can't be running back 5 or running back 1 and 5 overall or whatever, but we're already testing the limits of this thing at 11. So I would say you're pushing it. Try and make a trade. Trade down to 11. Trade down to 10 and then take your little bit of a reach there. But taking him at 5, you're wasting opportunity, and you're wasting, resources, essentially, an opportunity. Dylan says, drafted out of the 8 hole tonight. Been watching 3 years. Best channel on YouTube. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate you dropping the super chat, my guy. And from the 8th spot, I bet you got Achane or Kyren in round 2, didn't you? You dirty devil. Let's go over to DC, dude. You're live. Are you done taking your lap, DC, dude?
Yeah, I am, Smitty, man.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
All right, I might give you your card back.
And
All
you
right.
try to revoke my Bijan card. You cannot revoke my Bijan card. Bro.
Well,
Like, he's literally my favorite fantasy.
Well, don't say out of
player.
pocket things like this team is one of the worst teams ever drafted by mankind. I mean, I don't understand. What don't you like about it? Explain. From the 4 spot.
All right. Well, look, listen. Now, the first half of your draft was great. Like, I liked all your early picks. You did a great job. And
so how could it be bad? How could it be bad on that? How could it be bad based on that alone? Like, I could see you saying, "Hey, Smitty, loved the start, but I would have went in a different direction at the end." But what a good start, good top 5-6 guys. How could this be, Smith? What was your message that sent you on a lap? It said this right here: "Never seen you draft this bad, Smitty. You'll never admit it, but it's bad." What you just said, you're walking back like Jerry Jones. You're like, "I loved the beginning of your draft. You did a great job at the beginning." Tell me what you don't like about this team.
Look, I'm going to tell you what I don't like, right? It started to run away from you when you got to your tight ends, when you were trying to get a different bye week other than 14, right? And I remember calling in one time, I asked you about bye weeks and do you draft, you know what I mean? Do you stack bye weeks? Do you draft the quarter? He was like, "No, don't worry about bye weeks, man. You know, the after bye weeks." So I was like, okay, so like I took your advice. And so now, right, you trying to, you know, alter your bye weeks, but you missed it because you were up against the clock, the 15-second clock. Plus, you're trying to host one of the best podcasts that I've ever seen before in my life on YouTube on a subject that I really love, like fantasy football. So I get it. But your tight ends, right, started to get away from you. And it's a few guys that I have almost no stock in. That is Odunze, Andrews, Brooks, Mason, Elijah Mitchell, Woods. I almost have zero stock in
because
all of those
you don't
players.
because you don't like them, it's a bad draft. I see how this works. I got you. And number two, you're also taking out of context everything I've said about bye weeks. Bye weeks are irrelevant to an extreme degree, meaning don't draft around having a spread out bye week portfolio. What you're not listening to what I'm saying when I talk about bye weeks. Should you have all your players on the same bye so that like you have no tight end to start in week number 6? No, I've never said that in my life. I've said that don't worry about, I got all my buys in 1 week and then I've got backups to come in and play for 1 week. Try and win that week. But when I have 3 tight ends with the same bye, it's a problem. But to suggest that the entire draft is bad, never seeing a draft this bad, Smitty, that's a pretty damn good team. And admittedly, I screwed up on the bye week situation because of the timer, 15 seconds, because I'm hosting a draft, because I'm dealing with comments like yours. Of course, I'm going to be in positions where I'm probably timing out and I'm making a mistake here or there. But, like, you didn't really give much of a reason why this is a bad team. Odunze, I don't love Odunze, but I love Odunze as a player. But I think that in best ball, where I got him, this is a phenomenal place to grab Odunze around 7 when you haven't, you're punting wide receiver for a while. And then to say you don't like Andrews and Lamar or whatever, Andrews, I get it. I mean, I'm not drafting a lot of Lamar and Andrews, but you do have to diversify a little bit. Like, I'm not saying you don't have to always diversify to the tune that everybody says. I like going all in on some things. And then if I miss, I miss. And I have a year where a lot of teams get knocked out. But if I land, I've got more opportunities than anybody to smash because of all these teams that have the same players that have all hit. But there's nothing wrong with drafting a team with Andrews and Lamar. Like, there's nothing wrong with trying that. I don't know what in the hell you're talking about. And just because you don't draft a Dunze in 7 or 8 doesn't mean it's a bad pick. You may disagree with it, but the only thing you have a case to be made on, and Mason and Mitchell, that could turn out to be 4 starts of top 10 running back production. But the only thing that you have a case on, and I agree with it, and I said it from the start, is I drafted 3 tight ends with the same bye week on a 15-second timer running a show. That's the only thing. But go ahead. It's your comment. You can defend it how you want. I'm just merely telling you that I don't see how that comment makes sense.
Right. Look, listen, one thing that you did brilliant, though, was you cuffed Andrews and Likely. That was brilliant. All
right. Now it's brilliant. All right, DC dude. Backtracking like Jerry Jones, to be honest.
Hey, Smitty, congratulations, right? I was trying to get into that draft with you, but I had went into the slow draft by accident. Congratulations, man.
He's trying to get his Bijan card back is what he's trying to do. He's really trying hard.
Please, Smitty, please.
He's trying so hard. He can't. It's almost like a curse. When like no one wants to have that your Bijan card's been revoked. It like plays with your mentals. You're like, don't do it. Like I need all the mojo I could get going in. I don't need the bad luck of no Bijan card. It's driving them nuts.
I need my Bijan. Listen.
All right.
I'm a huge fan of his coming out, and I think he's a generational talent. And I think he's RB1 next year, just like we do.
All right. Thanks, DC dude. We'll see you later. Appreciate you. I'm not mad at you. It's all good. Later, bro.
All right, man.
Hey, DC dude. Keep watching the screen.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
All right. Going back over to Clay from Georgia. Clay, you're live.
Yo, is it how crazy is it taking Kyle Pitts over McBride? Like, I feel like everyone's just, like, standpoint, like, but McBride's clearly over Pitts. But, I don't know, Pitts' rookie season with, like, not playing with the worst quarterback in the league. Like, 68 catches, 1,000 yards. Like, I feel like Pitts is still, he's younger than McBride, and I feel like Pitts can still be better than McBride. But everyone's saying, like, McBride all the way. But I feel like Pitts is kind of, like, I feel like I could take him over him. And like,
so here's my answer. Is it crazy to take him over? Not crazy, but not smart. Is it smart to like Pitts at cost more than McBride at cost? That I approve. You know, if you say to me like, hey, I'm going to take Pitts in late 5 versus McBride, you know, late 4 or something, I'm on board. But do I think, like the example earlier where the guy's like, do I take Kyron at 5? No, like we can't just because we like somebody, we're going to just defy all the ADP odds, you know, and say, no, I'm taking my guy. Like there's a certain point where you take your guy. But do I think taking Kyle Pitts over McBride is smart? You know, like let's look at the board here and let's see if they're even close to where, like, so you got Kyle Pitts going at 5.1. You got McBride going at 43 overall, the middle of 4. So they're like a little bit more than half a round apart here. I venture to say that they're more like a round apart in general. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy, but
like if McBride flips like a little bit, like let's say like 5 picks, and like say you're at like top of the 5th round and McBride's there, but like you would rather have Pitts, you know?
Then just wait. Then just punt it and wait around.
Yeah.
At cost, it's fine, but not taking him over.
That's the plan. It's like yeah. But like I don't understand why everyone thinks that McBride's better than Pitts.
Well,
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what's the reason besides like
eyeballs?
Kirk Cousins, like he's got ACL, but better targets. Like eyeball?
My eyeballs are. You said what's the reason? I said eyeballs.
Yeah.
People watching McBride and saying this guy has barely been unlocked. Barely. I mean, we don't even know what he's capable of. Like in defensive attention, all he got was defensive attention. Now with MHJ there, MHJ's going to stretch the field. McBride's going to be wide open across the middle of the field more often. This guy's going to get touchdown production he never was able to even sniff. Kyler's going to play better, which will ultimately excel the offense. The offense will be in the red zone more. McBride couldn't get in the red zone as much as he will. But it doesn't mean Pitts is like can't outscore him. I think Pitts is a guy we've been waiting on for a while. And I think I'm excited, but he also has a little bit of that, like, fool me once, fool me twice, and then, he's got a new quarterback situation. Wait a minute. Do we throw that out now and say there is no fool me once, fool me twice? Or are you still worried about it? Is it something where it's like something standing in the way of this guy from doing it? You know, like then you start getting into superstitions and all that. But I don't know. I would just say this. I would just say this. If you like Kyle Pitts more than McBride, I don't think you've watched much McBride, so I will watch some film on him. But if you have and you still feel that way, I would say just wait around and do it and then grab somebody else where McBride is getting grabbed. That's the only answer. I mean, you're not going to get me to say draft Kyle Pitts over McBride. I'm not going to say it. Doesn't mean I don't like it at cost.
McBride's closer to Laporta than Pitts to Laporta.
I mean, obviously ADP is going to also agree with this. So I'm not saying you're the only one. A lot of people like Kyle Pitts, bro, but yeah, the ADP myself is going to say that McBride could be the number 1 overall tight end. I think Kyle Pitts feels like, is there a world where that can happen? Yeah, but he feels more like 3 to 6 to me. McBride feels 1 to 5. But do you know what I just described to you? An overlap, 1 to 5, 3 to 6. There is a world where Kyle Pitts outscores McBride. There's overlap. But the ceiling for McBride's higher than Kyle Pitts, in my opinion.
Yeah. Pitts kind of reminds me of, like, I remember you said Hawkinson when he was starting out bad. It's like, you said Hawkinson started out bad in the year he was going to break out. It's like everyone was down on him. And, like, I'm saying, this is Kyle Pitts' year. But that's it.
But these two things can live at the same time, though, bro. You know, like, they both could be elite. Like, I feel like you're trying to choose one over the other as if one's going to fail and one.
Nah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, appreciate you, bro. Yeah. We'll talk to you later, Clay. Clay from Georgia. Coughing Clay.
Sure.
The cough went away. You feeling better? All right. He's gone. Remember when he was coughing? So, on hold. Coughing Clay. Jimmy 44. You got any final thoughts, Jimmy, before I get out of here?
Yeah, so final question for you. Do you like on ESPN they have Travis Kelce around 29. Do you like him at the second round or at like 24, 25?
Travis Kelce?
Should I just
in a non-best ball grandma league or in best ball?
In a home league, yeah.
In a home league, I'm going to say negative. I'm going to say go with the later values, the Kincaid, McBride, Kyle Pitts, like in my opinion. In best ball, I love it because you can cuff it to Mahomes and the cuffing part matters. In non-best ball and home leagues, cuffing it's pixie dust, it's fairy dust, it isn't real, as Matthew McConaughey says. There's some advantages at times or whatever, but this is not best ball if you're talking about home leagues. And so I don't know why everybody's carrying over the stacking thing. Like, I got to stack. You're just used to stacking from best ball. Stacking in non-best ball, it's not the same thing at all. It's not optimal scoring. You can make mistakes. You can start the wrong guy. Bully QB, bully tight end. You can do that in best ball. You can't do it in non-best ball. It's a disaster waiting to happen in non-best ball. But I do like stacking because it's fun. In high-octane offenses, it can be productive and consistent, like Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Very good. Worthy and Mahomes. Rashee Rice, Worthy and Mahomes. Very interesting, but you start seeing where it can be problematic. Worthy, Rice, they might rotate. You might have the wrong one in. Do you just start both of them? Well, in non-optimal scoring and non-best ball, one might do bad every game and the other do good, and then you're going to be screwed, and it's just not the same at all. But Kyle Pitts, Travis Kelce at 2-3 turn territory is too rich for my blood. He's older. He showed some signs of drop off. I'm very hopeful that he can have a resurgence and have a good year. But 2-3 turn, you're talking about a lot of good players. And I would just rather go, even if I'm going with I don't know. Like Kincaid, where's Kincaid going in this format? Have you looked at the ADP data? It probably shows him in like 4 or 5.
Around like 55, yeah.
I mean, why not just go Kincaid, bro?
The only reason why I'm thinking Travis Kelce's with a bounce back that Mahomes going to have and, their connection. I know he's older. They're done with the Taylor Swift stuff. He just might go crazy again if, that's the only thing. But,
bro, as soon as there's a baby bump or a breakup, either one of the B's, I don't know. We could be back to Travis Kelce not in the right mindset. I mean, I don't know. I am glad that I feel like the honeymoon phase is over and he's he's going to be worried about himself again, right? He was worried about her. He just met her. He was in awe of everything. And now he's starting to get used to her. And like a new car, you're going to get used to the car. It's just the natural order of things. People can get mad at me. That's not a callous thing. It happens on the same side. The girl's going to get tired of the guy. I'm not saying tired, but you're used to him. It's like a roommate at some point. Like, I don't think that he's going to have that, I'm going to let her dictate my life type of thing. But he certainly could have some trauma, or if there's a baby or something involved where his mind goes off again, and we've seen him derail. I don't know. I'm not trusting Kelsey unless it's best ball, and I'm cuffing him to Mahomes.
Okay.
But that's me. I just think Kincaid going to the moon, bro. 58% vacated target share in Buffalo. You're talking about a lot of targets this guy's going to pull in.
Right. Kincaid to the moon. Do you like him more than McBride?
Who?
Kincaid?
I go back and forth, man. I really love both of them. Both could be the QB or the tight end one. I want shares of both. I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, Kyler's a good quarterback. McBride's not in a bad situation at all. And they're going to be losing a lot. They're going to be throwing a lot in the third and fourth quarter. There's some advantages to being in the Cardinal offense, even more so than a more potent, offense. And the vacated targets are obviously still there in Arizona, too. They're up there as well. And those are going to be consumed by MHJ and, McBride. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I guess push comes to shove. I've been taking McBride a little bit, but at cost, if Kincaid goes like 8 picks later or 5 picks later, I think I swing over to Kincaid. Everything's about cost of entry, my guy. All right, I got to go. Appreciate you.
Last thing, Smitty. Do you like James Conner this year?
Yes, if he's cuffed. If he's not cuffed, no. All right, later, bro.
Okay.
Marsman Rockout, appreciate your super chat. Marsman Rockout said the following. Appreciate him with his $2 hauler. He said, congrats on the 26K. Honestly, worth 100K. Appreciate you. 100K, here we come. I hope we hit it sooner than later. I really do. It's the only goal. I don't really care too much about the numbers and views, because I feel like when you get caught up on that, you start creating content that's not what you want to create, and it's not genuine. That's why I don't do some of these things that other people do, where I know you guys want ranking shows every week and all that, and I might try and figure a way to do it that suits my liking. But I'm not about like, hey, this is going to get views, I'm just going to create this topic because everybody else is. I do like to have a place that is different, and it's what I want to talk about, and it's what you want to see, combination of the two. And I don't just want to do a QB ranking video because it gets a lot of views, then do a running back ranking video because it gets a lot of views. I do want to do more of those this year. I promise you I will, but I want to do it on my terms. But I do hope that 100K is something that I think I will stop and relish and sit and go, wow, that is an accomplishment, and feel really good about it. And then we get back to business like Bill Belichick the next day. We're not spending too much time hesitating on it. But 26K, let's turn it into 100K. If you guys can spread the word, it will help. Luke with a $10 hauler says, Smitty, I can't wrap my head around Justin Jefferson round 1 with Sam Darnold as his quarterback. I'm not worried about him catching. I'm worried about the ball getting to him. Do I take a lap? Do I have a reason to be worried? You have definitely a $10 hauler, first of all. So appreciate you. The moonshot. You're definitely not alone on this topic. A lot of people feel this way. That's why his ADP has fallen. If you look at the board here, I don't even remember where JJ went, but JJ went at number 8 overall. And he was number 1 or 2 or 3 overall before he lost Kirk Cousins. So I think the market is adjusted to it. I don't think you're crazy to then continue on down past round 1 and want him at the 2-3 turn or 1-2 turn. I get that, but he's not going to fall that far. So if you're telling me you refuse to draft Justin Jefferson, well, bro, AJ Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, Breece Hall, those are all great picks, man. I can't tell somebody that they're crazy for not wanting JJ over AJ Brown. Even Gibbs with the situation going on. Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua. Those are all fantastic picks. Now, if you get into this like Nico territory, I am gonna I am going to question some things about your statement there. But I don't disagree that it is dangerous territory, especially if McCarthy comes back with a repair of the meniscus that requires him more time off, and he ends up maybe missing the entire season. Then we're in trouble because we have no backup plan. If McCarthy has a cleanup only, and he's going to be ready for like week 2 or 3 or 4 if need be, then I think we have a safeguard built in that allows me to feel comfortable anyway, and you don't need to feel this way, where I draft JJ at 8-9 with pretty much no hesitation, because the risk involved is already baked into that with the quarterback situation. Because I think McCarthy or Darnold, one of the two, will be productive enough to give him top 8-9 overall value. So that's going to be my answer there. Luke, appreciate you dropping that super chat, my guy. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Rockout. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, David. Thank you, Superfish, Terry, Young, DC Dude, Alec, and Jaime. Rockout, final thoughts and words for tonight before we call it a night.
Yeah, honestly, as far as how much work you put in and how many times you go live, I feel you should be getting the compound effect, and just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll get to the 100K pretty soon. Yeah,
buddy, I appreciate that. You know, sometimes I think I get docked a little bit, not intentionally by the algorithm, but I think because I have such long shows, I think it's harder for people, because like you think about YouTube, right? How many people are looking for long 2-3 hour videos? A lot, but is it everybody? No. So my objective this year is to create a bunch of shorter videos as well as the long ones, so those will just be uploaded. And I'm pretty sure that whatever disadvantage I have by being such a long form content monster in this channel, that we're gonna reap the rewards of what a lot of smaller, I want to say smaller content creators that are bigger. They don't create what we create, but they catch the algorithm different, and I do got to play that game a little bit, but I want to do it on my terms. I want to create content that makes me happy. Otherwise, that's how you get these guys that burn out. They don't even care what they do. You can tell when somebody's just trying to hit the algorithm. Like, here's my ranking video for the day. Got to get out of here. There you go. Boom. Like, I want to do something. Yeah, and I take more enjoyment, and the channel's not struggling by any means. So I'm not like in a panic to hit any certain numbers, but I do love and relish the fact that I am like the Pat McAfee show, for example, for people, where like every day they're at work, they pop in the AirPod, whatever, and they know they have a 2 or 3 or 4 hours worth of live streaming from the day to catch up on. Like, that is really, I think, the thing I love the most about the channel, is it provides that. I'm not really as much interested in having my channel be known for 2, 4, 6 minute videos. I feel like that short form video, it's almost like a TikToker. Like, to me, I will have those, and whenever I do a short video, it ends up being 13 to 18 minutes. So it's not really even short, but that's not what I want to create. And at some point, you know, you have to pick and choose what's important to you, like hitting a number and, you know, or doing what you want and growing in a certain way. But I have a feeling we will massively pick up numbers as we go, because, you know, during the 8 p.m. show, we're at, you know, about 400 to 500 live viewers during the entire show. So I have a feeling that that's going to kickstart some things for us. And hitting 25K was awesome. Now we're at 26K. Didn't take that long to go from 25K to 26K. We're going to keep climbing, and then I have a feeling we're going to start popping off. But spread the word. I know nobody wants to tell their buddies, but you could tell 2 or 3 people a week. You know, at the deli, you're waiting for a sandwich. You see a guy in a Raider hat, and you'd be like, you know, Smitty's not liking Raiders today. you could tell 2 or 3 people. If everybody told 2 or 3 people a week, said there's a show that's live every day that talks NFL news and football, not just fantasy, but he talks NFL. I have a feeling we'd be at 50K by the end of the year. Easily. So tell everybody you can. All right, Rock Out. Appreciate you, my man.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Is the 24th date set for the Marsman League, or Or you haven't decided yet?
Great question. Thank you for reminding me. I do need to announce it. Some people aren't in the group chat, and you really should be, because we said that from the beginning. You need to be in order to get all the updates properly on Instagram. So if you're in the Marsman or Moonman League and you're not in the Instagram chat, please DM me, DM anybody that's in it. But this draft will be, let's see here.
Yeah, I think someone had a wedding to go to.
The Patreon draft is the 18th. I put that in the Patreon. That's the 18th on Sunday. Starting at, I think, I forget the time. I'll look for it. And then the Moonman Marsman draft is so that's Sunday, 18th. The coming up Saturday of the next Saturday, 24th. And that'll be at 2 p.m. The Patreon draft is at 11 a.m. Pacific time, so that's 2 p.m. Eastern, the Patreon draft. And that'll be back to back drafts here on the live stream. And if you can't make it, it is the Patreon draft on the 31st. I think I put the graphic in the Patreon, Superfish. Let me see. Make sure I put the right graphic up.
Oh, let me go to it.
Let me see. Yeah, it's in there. General chat. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see.
Was it in the general chat?
Was it in the general or no? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, 8:18, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's a little ways back, but go find that 8:18.
Can you post it on the main page, maybe, like the home page later, so people will see it?
On what homepage?
I don't know if you're able to do that.
It's in general.
Just like Patreon.
Yeah, I'll post it again. It's in the general.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know if you could post it like when you're on the homepage.
Create an article. Yes.
Highlights and articles.
Good point. I'll create an article on it and post it. I know it's not going to work for everybody, but we got over 100 people in it, 120 I think. I think we're gonna do 242, but we might do 120 or so. There's a lot of people. There's no way to account for everybody, unfortunately. But you can definitely pre-draft and everything to make sure. So Superfish, is that time hopefully works for you? We were kicking around different times and settled on that. But so 8:18 at 2 p.m. This one right here, the Marsmen Moonmen draft. The Moonmen draft, I believe, will be starting before the Marsmen draft, and they'll be back. Or no, I'm sorry, they're at the same time. These drafts will be at the same time, unlike last year, and so I'll have one at the top here and one at the bottom here, and that will allow everybody to see them both get executed at the same time. That draft is on the 24th at 2 p.m. So 5 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. my time, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll put it on the screen here. So this is going to be...
You what time tomorrow, man?
So that's going to be 8:24 at 5 p.m. Eastern.
So Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
Okay.
And that's and if anybody's not in the Instagram Moonman Marsman chat, make sure you message me, because that's where the debate happened to have the draft date, and I had B-Men handle that for me. So that's the draft date, 8:24 Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. West Coast time. And then the Patreon draft is 8:18. Let me put that on that page. Let me go over to the Patreon page real quick. Okay, so this I can get rid of. So it's going to be, and if anybody wants to join the Patreon, I'll drop the link in a second. This draft is going to be 8:18 at 2 p.m. Eastern. There we go. All right. Did Superfish say the draft worked? Patreon is on Sunday, August 18th at 2 p.m. Yes. Sunday, 8/18, 2 p.m. Eastern. That's what I show. And then did Superfish say that she could make the other one? All right. Boys, anything else?
Yeah,
I think that's
I
it.
I told Jason in the chat I'd ask a trade question for him a while back. So I think it's a redraft, and I think he said PPR. Would you trade Ramondre Stevenson and Josh Palmer for Keon Coleman and Odunze?
In a redraft?
Yeah. So Stevenson and Palmer for Coleman and Odunze.
I mean, I don't know the running back situation, but yeah, I'd take the Coleman and Odunze.
It would leave him with Singletary as his RB2. He has Kyron.
That's one of those things where like the
Kyron,
trade should be made,
yeah.
but at the same time you're getting rocked at running back. I don't know. I mean, it depends on the wide receivers. I think we need way more information than that. In general, yes, but that sounds like a horrible trade. That sounds like it just made his team worse, even though he got better end of the. I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably say
the
Stevenson.
Singletary thing was what I was a little worried about.
In that case. Yeah. All right, boys.
Appreciate it. All right, thanks, man. Talk to you later. Later,
Appreciate
Rocco.
you both. Later.
Bye.
Young says Smitty does it like no other platform. Thank you. Appreciate you, Young to the moon. And Terry Roberts says, oh no, 24th is my family draft. I need to pre-rank. Well, not necessarily, Terry. You just have your phone. Just, make sure you're while you're drafting, you're just keeping an eye on your draft. I mean, we do multiple things here. I think you could pull it off. Maybe you can't watch the live stream, but just pull up the draft on your phone, and I don't think you can do both at the same time. And if not, let the pre-rank select your team, but like when you can, intervene and try and direct it. But I definitely would try to hit both. All right, I appreciate every single one of you. Chris says, Smitty, should I trade my 1.11 and 2.4 or for the 2.4 and 4.4? So let's see. Let me pull that on screen. The 1.1. And for the 2.4 and 4.4. Yeah, hell yeah. Do you need a third? I don't think you can get a third. A second and a third you're basically giving almost a second rounder for a high second rounder, and you're getting the fourth. I just take it before they withdraw it. That could be McBride and Kyron for just Garrett Wilson, or something like that. I'd smash the hell out of that. All right, I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. Don't be afraid to draft Gibbs, but be cognizant of the opportunity you're afforded by letting him fall to the top of round 2. And we'll take it as it comes. We need to wait for the news to know exactly what to do. But for now, I think people are overreacting versus anything, and I'm willing to take a little bit of the risk on. All right. See you all later. Appreciate you.
He's Kyron, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
A-Chan. A-Chan is the man. His haters call him small.
But he is 9 feet tall.
H.N. is the man.
Live whenever big news breaks. Additionally, live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Il Phil with the celebratory message. Fun drafting with you all. Iron sharpens iron. That's true. Phil, appreciate you.